Okay, so we've been talking about parts of speech, and the reason that we're doing that was because we want to talk about clauses, and want to talk about sentences. Parts of speech are just building blocks for sentences. So, clauses, there are two kinds of them, and so we use our parts of speech to build clauses, which makes sentences. Okay? All right, so there are two types of clauses, independent and dependent. We're going to start with independent because it's really straightforward, and so it makes it easier to understand what a dependent clause is. So, an independent clause needs three things. You need to have a subject, aka a noun, a predicate, a verb, and it needs to make sense. If you have all of those things, then it's an independent clause. This is also known as a simple sentence. Okay, so an example of this is, I like pizza. Our subject is I, so your subject is a noun or a pronoun, and then like is our verb. Pizza, like pizza, becomes our verb phrase, that's our predicate, and it makes sense. Check, 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 all those things, we are good to go. Alright, so a dependent clause is when you are missing one or more of those things. So if you're missing the subject, you're going to have something like that says like pizza, or if you're missing the predicate, you would have I pizza, which sounds like a toddler is saying that, right? Or if it doesn't make sense, it might have the subject or the predicate, and the subject and the predicate, but it still doesn't make sense, like this. I like pizza if. That still feels like we need to have something for it to complete the thought. So when you have any of those things, that is called a fragment. So when you have a partial clause, right, if you're missing your subject or the predicate or it doesn't make sense, that is called a fragment, and we don't like things to be alone like that. When we combine it with an independent clause, it actually changes the structure of our sentence. It becomes a complex sentence. So remember, length does not equal complexity. It has to do with the structure entirely. So, example of a complex sentence, I like pizza if it's pepperoni. And that is the end of our clause notes.